particularly in the rural areas. That's a comment. Perhaps maybe we can elaborate a little bit on that, investing in youth entrepreneurs in rural areas. And then Nolene Cochin saying, ask the Minister to comment on the Pink Drive, offering a free mammogram service to his province. So that's quite an interesting one. Perhaps we can get a little bit more information about that. Peter, it's back to you.
All right. Leanne, thank you very much indeed. Just before the break, we were talking to the MEC for Safety, Community Safety and Liaison, MEC Mkhunu, but I believe that there are other initiatives associated with what we were talking about that's happening in schools and so on and so forth. MEC? Or is it social development? Education?
No, MEC education.
Education.
Well, thank you very much. Over and above what my colleagues have indicated on social ills, we have another social ills particularly affecting school-going children in the form of pregnancies, reaching very high numbers, over 10,000 children getting pregnant in 1 year in the province alone. That tells you that you have 10,000 possibilities of contracting HIV and AIDS in a province that is already under siege on that aspect. And therefore, recognizing that problem as MECs on the social cluster of Cabinet, we had a conference in January where we're dealing with these matters and focusing on learner pregnancy, focusing on substance abuse among children and young people outside school, but also on abuse of liquor among school children. We came out with resolutions which are very interesting, and of course there were children there. We heard from them asking questions as to what attracts children from getting involved in love affairs and all those things at young ages, with school children getting pregnant as young as 10 years old. Now, they indicated that among other things, older people, which was also something that was catching the eye of Department of Health, older males are very keen on abusing young children, giving them cell phones, 50 rand, 20 rand, and all such bad conduct among young males, but who are older than school-going children. And one boy was actually saying to us, if there are 20 girls pregnant in our school, you must know that all the fathers are outside school, and that's exactly what's happening. We now are rolling out the program, and our first target will be Zululand district, because it has the highest number of learners who are pregnant per year, and that is worrying us quite a bit. And we're collaborating, all of us as departments and with communities and community organizations. And it's something that we are inviting everybody to take part on, because we can't succeed as a province, either in education or elsewhere, when so many children are subjected to this kind of social ills. Thank you.
All right, okay. Let's go to some of the issues that were raised by the viewers. Investing in youth entrepreneurs in the rural areas. I would imagine that will address a lot of issues, not just rural, but youth unemployment, but rural is what's been raised.
Well, I think there are a number of programs, Peter, that as a province of KwaZulu-Natal we're actually coming up with regard to, first and foremost, ensuring that there is a decentralization of industrial development in the province. We call it the district industrial hubs. In each and every district, as we speak right now, we've appointed a team, project teams, where we've identified, it is actually detailed in the State of the Province address delivered by the Premier, certain critical core sectors which we think will become drivers for each of our districts. In this regard, therefore, I'm saying, therefore, there is no district in the province that is not going to be getting our attention. And therefore, we're also establishing what is called the district coordinating forums, where ourselves, the provincial government, the local municipality and the district municipalities, together with all social partners, will be able to partner in that regard. But then there is a second part of it, which we are saying, therefore, that we want to have a rollout of career guidance in the various parts of the province, together in all of our districts, with an intention of ensuring that we properly guide young people with regard to which are the growth sectors in our province and where are the opportunities. Because if you're going to be building skills, you can't build skills that you require next year overnight. So it requires a period of 4 to 5 years to be able to do that. So we are having a number of those events, and one of them that we are doing, of course, is a partnership between ourselves through the Moses Kotane Institute and the NIT in India as an example, where there's an agreement between us to say that we want to train over 10,000 people focusing around the BPO and the ICT industries as one critical sector, and therefore working with a number of the FETs throughout the province to be able to skill these young people so that no one will be able to get a job unless you are able to be skilled. So I think there are quite a lot of programs that we are doing as a provincial government aimed at capacitating and giving our people the competency to be able to be players in the economy.
All right, okay, I'm mindful of time, so I'm going to ask you to ask your questions briefly, and I'm also going to ask the MECs also to be quite concise with the answers. So let's go to Vivian Reddy. Vivian?
Thank you. I think to South Africans, you've got to understand that there is more good happening in this country than bad. Recently, I met the worldwide CEO of General Electric, the 4th largest company in the world, and he said South Africa is a great destination. Right in this venue last week, I had the top Chinese businessman whose net worth was worth more than the GDP of South Africa, and they showed so much of confidence in this country. And I think here in KwaZulu-Natal, we got a great leadership under Premier Zweli Mkhize. They are doing a great job. There is a lot of things wrong. They are repairing it. And South Africans need to look at the positive aspects. And I think, Mr. Premier, you've got to tell us how you're going to spread the good news that you're doing. There's a great job being done. And also, maybe you could indicate to us, how do you keep the thousands of civil servants whose services quite often are not appreciated because the negative overcomes the positive they're doing, and what are you doing to motivate them?
Okay, Premier?
Yeah, thank you very much. I do agree with Mr. Vivian Reddy. There's a lot of good work, there's a lot of goodwill that's taking place, and I believe that if we were able to concentrate on working together and focusing on the success stories and how well we can together achieve the best possible results, the country can really move quite far. One of the things that we are doing is a program which we're calling Operation Sukmasake, wherein we're involving literally all the sectors of society at different levels to work together with government and communities to try and see what contribution each individual or each organization can bring on the table to actually help the communities. A lot of goodwill that's coming out on the communities based on the contributions of various parts of various stakeholders is what has really made, created a very positive attitude. So if you look around, talk to non-governmental organizations, they're indicating the fact that they can now work together with government, but also they see where they fit, and I think that's what we need to strengthen in the whole province, as it were. There are a number of councils that I spoke about where on some of the concerns of communities we're able to draw in the participation into these councils, like the AIDS Council, the Council on Drug Abuse, and so on, which actually help people to find their space as we're moving along as government. They can bring in suggestions, they can bring in their own experiences onto the table. And I believe that that's one direction that this whole thing is taking. We do have programs wherein, within departments, we do what we call Premier's Excellence Awards, where we look at innovations in various departments and therefore take different teams, sub-units and sub-projects within departments to look at the ones that have shown most of impact and then give them awards. It's one of the very popular ones because it's basically awards a collective effort of a particular department, and it's actually one of those that are very popular and as departments showcase what they can do, and we believe that's very, very, very important. We've also said each official must find space to be able to go out and work with the communities, and we found a very interesting thing because a lot of staff had not really gone out to visit poor communities. We had to counsel some of them when they came back from there, because they suddenly realized that you can do a lot more as a civil servant in your office, even in your spare time. And all of this for us are a way of saying, to take this province forward, we need everybody to hold each other's hands and work on a cooperative spirit of partnership.
All right. Mr. Reddy talked about great leadership in the province. You've got a new job at the ANC. Does that mean there might be a change of guard in the province in terms of a new premier?
Well, let's start from here. You'll see that whatever successes that this province has scored, there's a team of 11 of us. One of our colleagues is on a Minimac, is not here. So it's all of us who have been doing this great job. But in the crowd here, we have got heads of department, we've got MPs, we've got mayors, it's a combined team of many leaders that I believe is very, very important to understand, so that if there's a shift of one or other, it should not affect the entire operation. There is no plan, though, at the moment. And I also just want to say that of the things that we have been dealing with, you can actually be surprised to see each one of the colleagues dealing with issues that appear to be in another department, simply because the way we work is a partnership. Everyone is a champion in a district, and therefore they have to deal with issues in every district, and each one is part of a cluster. So you can hear all the issues on health, on social development coming from an MEC of education and vice versa. And that is the kind of integration that we've built into the team. We've got, after this session, a provincial coordinating forum where MECs and mayors are going to be sitting together. Heads of departments and municipal managers are going to be sitting together, combining our plans. So for me, I'm quite certain that movement of one or two people can't affect the process. Nevertheless, at the moment, the African National Congress, which takes those decisions, has not taken a decision to change the premier, and therefore, as far as we are concerned, we will move on as the situation is. The issues of the Treasurer General, I'm sure the ANC can answer better on those issues at the moment.
Okay. Mr. Madlala.
Thank you, Program Director. My question is just directed to MEC Mabuyakulu. What plan do you have to help us to revive Peter's Ezakeni stroke Sitebe industries, since we've got a high rate of unemployment? I thank you.
Okay.
The mayor of Mnamiti.
The mayor?
He's a mayor.
Oh, no, it's Your Excellency. What should we say, Your Worship? It's the mayor. Okay, so an important question from the mayor.
Thank you very much. I've already indicated, Peter, that we are having a program of district hubs. And one of the hubs that we are actually, district industrial hubs we're focusing on is in Uchugela as a district, from where Umnambiti, Lady Smith, as well as Zakeni is located. And specifically, what we have been focusing around that is that, whereas in the past it was just your low-end kind of quantum volumes of investment, we're now going to be focusing around about electronics as well as your digital, the type of kind of products coming out of there. Now, already the teams have already started to do the technical work. We're hoping that the focus in the future in around the whole of Ezakeni, Peters area, where we think the location of the new electronics hub is going to be, will then move into that, because infrastructure is exactly there. And you know that we, from the side of the province, through the Italian Development Finance Corporation, we owners of those assets. So we are going to focus on that. The same thing when we're doing with the Sitebe, the focus there is going to be around the question of renewable energy production, and particularly looking at the products in the renewable energy space that will actually be produced around in the Sitebe. But it doesn't mean that the other sectors and other businesses that may be located there will not be given space, but there will then be a priority with regard to what we think will be the key sectors there. So there is already a plan, and there's resources that we've announced 70 million rand to start this process, but we're also going to be then convening this district coordinating forum where all of us are going to be participating in each and every district and being part and parcel of the process.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, a last one, and then we'll start winding things down a little bit. So stay with us for that.